Welcome to Bible verses Storytime and Songs. Today's video is the Bible story, Noah and the Ark. The silence was the first sign, not the silence of a desert noon, but a heavy, deliberate hush that settled over the valleys and the fields, muffling the decadent cacophony of the world. Noah, 70 years past his century mark, felt the weight of the divine pronouncement pressing down, not on his shoulders, but on his soul. Judgment was coming, a cleansing deluge for an earth too foul to bear its inhabitants. 40 days and 40 nights, he whispered to Naamah, his wife, as they stood amidst the towering ribs of gopher wood. The ark was already a skeletal giant, an impossible structure rising against the backdrop of disbelief and mocking laughter from the cities beyond the ridge. She did not weep, nor did she argue. Her faith, honed by decades beside him, was the quiet ballast to his tumultuous conviction. The labor was relentless, 100 years blurring into the smell of pitch and sawdust, the rhythmic beat of hammers echoing the urgency of the decree. He worked not just to build a vessel, but to contain hope, to gather the breathing proof that creation was worth saving, even if humanity was not. Every splinter of wood, every drop of pitch, was an agonizing affirmation of the world's necessary end. The day the beasts arrived, a stillness fell upon the construction site that dwarfed the earlier hush. They came in pairs, not driven by fear or hunger, but by an inexplicable command, moving with dignity from the deepest jungles and the highest mountains. Naamah watched them file past, measuring the scale of the impending loss against the precious cargo of life. When the command came to seal the door, the air inside the ark grew immediately thick, heavy with the combined breath of every living thing. It was a profound isolation. Noah stood at the vessel's center, hearing the faint sounds of the outside world being swallowed, not just by water, but by silence, a silence more absolute than any he had known before. The rain began as a soft weeping, then escalated into a judgment roared from the broken firmament. The ark shuddered, not from instability, but from the brutal knowledge of what was happening outside its thick, oiled walls. He did not pray for those lost. Prayer felt inadequate against the perfect will of the Creator. He prayed only for the strength to endure the sound of the world ending. For months, the journey was a blind float over oblivion. Naamah would often look out the single window high above, seeing only water and the impenetrable gray sky. This wasn't chaos, this was order, the terrible, perfect order of divine consequence. They drifted in a dark pocket of time, disconnected from memory, anchored only by faith in the unseen plan. Then came the bump, not a crash, but a soft, grinding contact with stone, the summit of Ararat. The violent motion ceased, replaced by the disconcerting stillness of being grounded high above the drowned earth. Slowly, hesitantly, the waters receded. The waiting began again, a patience measured not by days, but by the quiet hope of the returned swallow. The dove returned with the olive leaf, a fragile, trembling piece of living green that symbolized not just peace, but the promise of recommitment. Noah held it, feeling the texture of life return, an invitation back to the shattered, clean slate of the earth. It was a reprieve, a sign that the covenant had been quietly renewed while the world slept beneath the waves. When they finally stepped out, the air was sharp, clean, and terrifyingly silent. The earth was reborn, stripped bare and beautiful. The first thing Noah saw was the brilliant arch spanning the sky, a searing covenant of color, God's signature across the canvas of renewal. He knelt, not in relief, but in acknowledgement of the profound, terrible mercy that had allowed him to stand upon the genesis of the next world. Thank you for watching today's video. See you in the next one.